Hello, everybody. It is Etienne Marcel, the Sports Inquirer, and welcome to another edition of Fighting Peaches. This edition, we're going to be hearing from Georgia State football head coach Dell McGee as the Panthers prepare to host Appalachian State homecoming weekend. This upcoming week in Sun Belt play, the Panthers are still seeking their first conference win. Before we get to Dell and everything going on with the Panthers program, as always, to follow everything that we do, head to the mothership, to sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also head to our social media platforms on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look us up under Etienne Marcel of the Sports Inquirer. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video hosts, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I always forget Apple Podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts and up and running, or Apple Music, however you want to word it. I think technically it is Apple Podcasts, yes. So we are on there. So please make sure you go to that platform as well. I'll make sure to continue to share the link or start sharing the link on thesportschoir.net when you go to our site to see that. But yes, we are on Apple Podcast. So looking forward to some of you listening or watching from that site as well. As I mentioned, Georgia State football is preparing to host Appalachian State this weekend, coming off a 14-7 loss last week against James Madison. We're going to hear from Dell McGee. Was able to attend his weekly presser and ask some questions about what's going on with the program and everything in relation to that. And let's hear from Dell, and then I'll have some thoughts and comments on the matchup and much more. Enjoy.
Uh, Very tough opponent. They do a good job on offense. Very multiple shift motions. Um, the quarterback Cole can make every throw. He does exceptionally well throwing the deep ball. Uh, Rashad Dominion, someone I know personally. John Amson, who's on our staff, coached him in high school. Really good player. A lot of the run game goes through him. Their tight ends are very physical, willing blockers. The one tight end that's a transfer, very athletic. You got to make sure you know where he is at all times. And their slot receiver is very dynamic. He returns punts for them as well. That came from Austin P. That was an awesome pickup for them, and he's very dynamic with the ball in his hands. And then they have 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" receivers. And they got one of their best players back, number one, from why he was out. He had a big game last game, so they definitely have our attention, and they can beat you in a multitude of ways. A little bit different than our last opponent, and that's the thing about matchups. We got to be very good in the secondary of this game, and we got to stop the run. So it's going to be a tough deal. Defensively, they're multiple as well. We got to win up front battle. Got to continue to improve the run game and the run plan, and got to get Ted the football and see how they're playing. Ted and quarterbacks got to progress, get the ball out of their hands. Offensive line got to block, and we got to play with more urgency. And we got to play complementary football in all three phases, something that we really hadn't done for 4 quarters. And we got to do that to have a chance to win this football game. But got a lot of work to do, got a lot to clean up from today's practice, but I like where we are right now. We just got to go detail some things up as coaches and come back and hit red area and third downs tomorrow and some of the blitzes that they'll present along with some short yard stuff.
You mentioned post game just offensive struggle, especially on the line. You said you need to go back and review some things. Have you had time to do that? And
Yeah.
what have you noticed just from that last performance and just areas of improvement?
Yeah, and just not on the same page, not staying connected, too loose on blocks, and not running to the correct techniques at times, and decisions. We pulled a ball and we shouldn't have pulled it. We should have gave it. Threw a ball, should have gave it. So it's like some RPOs that are attached to the runs. We should be doing the opposite. So with some miscommunication, misreads, and we just got to do better as players and recognize what we're trying to do. And we need to kind of scale back what we can do based on what we have and who we have playing, because we got some guys that are down in several positions on both sides of the ball. So we got to get these other guys up to speed.
Something I forget if it was yesterday on media call or if it was post game. You mentioned the O line was having to maybe stay in their stances a little too long when you're getting the play in. Is that something you can change midseason and how you handle that and do like a muddle hut or whatever, just so they're not doing that? Or is that something?
Yeah, absolutely. You can change the tempo and things of that sort. But once we break the huddle and then we were subbing late. Jan, you did a good job of subbing late, doing the 1-for-1. Like we caught them a couple of times as well. So that's coaching. Coaches can't sub players that late and allow them to sub, and now you're in a panic, or vice versa. The O-line's been down, and now they get antsy. And if you got something play call and somebody loses focus, I mean, it's basically a lack of focus, but it's also our fault as coaches.
You're obviously going for whatever to finances in the run game. Is there a certain point where, because of what he offers mobility-wise, that Cam Brown maybe ends up needing to be the answer quarterback just because he gives you that extra number that they're going to have to account for maybe more than TJ does?
To a certain extent, I can see that point, but also there's just things that they do better. The thing that sometimes we don't all look at is, you got two different styles of quarterback, and then what if Cam Brown goes down because you run him too much? Who's the next Cam Brown on the roster? So there comes there's got to be somewhat of a balance, and you can't really go all in one style because they're just both different guys, and we just got to do a better job as coaches of maximizing, changing things up, even in series, and not just playing a particular person for one whole series, if that makes sense.
Yeah, after the struggles, especially against Ole Miss and Vanderbilt defensively, it seemed like that was the best defensive effort this past week against James Madison. How do you build off of that and just try to carry that over into this Appalachian State contest?
Yeah, it's not really a carryover. It's what we do on Monday, what we did on Monday, what we did today, what we're going to do tomorrow, what we're going to do Thursday, Friday. Them studying the plan, them watching tape, them understanding the clues to the test, and it starts back over. Now you got to take what you learned during the week to the game, and then you got to tackle well and make adjustments. So the formula hasn't changed. And like I said, we made some changes with personnel, but we're going to have more changes due to injuries this week. So just next man up. Unfortunate with some of the guys that we have out, but we got to prepare the guys that are available to play.
And then about special teams, obviously it was not the best day special teams wise, blocking or defending really overall. Does that include changing some of the personnel on the special teams, or after what happened against James Madison, maybe changing some schematic things this week on special teams?
I mean, the one fake punt they ran, I mean, we were there to make a tackle and we didn't make the tackle. The other one was, like I said, a call that they executed, but the same thing, if our end that's edging the defense don't go inside and allow the runner to get outside, then you got pursuit coming from the inside. So it's just one of the things that a young freshman was playing, and the other guy's a sophomore that missed a tackle. So it's everyone's has a job to do, and they got to execute those jobs. Of course, you can always go back and second guess and say, all right, let's just not do this or do that. So we just got to execute a lot better in that part of the game. And then as far as the punts are concerned, the punter has a responsibility of punting the ball in the right location. That's been the biggest hiccup. If we're punting the ball to the right and the ball ends up on the left and everyone's going this way and all of a sudden it's not, then that creates a lot of issues. And so we've been really, really harping on just location. And if we're in the right location, we'd have covered a lot of those punts a lot better too.
Mm-hmm. Also about the defensive line, you had some guys get dinged up, injured in the game. How are they? What's the status for this team?
I don't want to say right now. So, but yeah, we got some guys that are down that we'll have to play with some more guys. Just trying to see how that's going to correlate and translate.
What is AJ's status? Because it wasn't on the injury report last week, but was not in the game. And is it a case now where he's just playing behind the other guys in the interior offensive line, or is like healthy but not all the way back, or I guess how would you characterize it?
Yeah, he's healthy. He's back, and he'll play this week. It's not necessarily he was out or anything like that. It was some things he had going on, and he was available this past Saturday and was able and could have played. But he'll play this week.
And your evaluation of the guys who came in, filled in for Domain at linebacker this past Saturday?
Yeah, Josiah had an excellent game. He's really doing a good job of leading that group, and Kobe Owens played a lot of snaps, and Kendrick Walker kind of fills in there. It's just you got to play complementary football. It's a team game. When we all succeed, we all win. When one of us lose, we all lose. So we just got to continue to buy into that, continue to buy into the process of what it takes, the accountability on an everyday basis, whether it's going to class, study hall, parking on the back gate, doing things that you're supposed to do, all kind of carry over. Get enough sleep at night, not hanging out, putting good food in your body, hydrating. So all those details are needed for any individual to maximize their performance.
Tell us about your running game. Saw some Murray, saw a little bit of Branson. Tell us about just your mix and how that's progressing.
Yeah, like we're just implementing the plan, and we're going to run who's available, and hopefully we gotta execute a lot better on Saturday in the run game. And like I said, that's play calling, that's execution, that's offensive line, that's tight ends, quarterbacks, running the correct run check. So there's a lot of parties involved in the run game, and we all have to do our job there.
App State made a change at QB this last game with J.J. Cole coming in. Was there anything from this game where kind of he was the starter that's different about their offense, and any extra dimensions he adds now that he's been at the quarterback position?
Yeah, I think he has some mobility, a couple quarterback runs with him. I mean, they move the pocket a lot with him. He's a big guy. He can see, and he throws an excellent deep ball, and they take shots, and they got good receivers. I mean, that's, to me, one of the strengths of their team. Moving the pocket, I think, helps, takes the rush off the pocket passer to a certain extent. But he did a really good job against Oregon State, and receivers caught the ball well. They made contested catches behind back shoulder catches, and they got a really good skill group of players, counting the tight ends and backs.
Coach, it's homecoming week. How are you on this week? Some people feel like a lot of distractions for the team, people around, and that type of thing. How do you usually like to approach it?
It's just homecoming. Homecoming is for the students and all the activities, alumni, everyone that's involved in that. We're not necessarily involved with a lot of different things. Of course, there's things that go on at night, and our guys got to be mindful of the plan that we got to hold our end of the bargains, execute, prepare, and be ready to play well on Saturday. So those are things that are out of our control with certain limits to them. It's up to the individual players and the leadership on the team to make sure that we're locked in on what we got to do. And not saying you can't have fun, but the fun should be winning the game on Saturday, and then you can do all the homecoming activities you want after the game.
All right, and that was head coach of Georgia State football, Dell McGee. And we thank him for his time speaking with us in the media as the Panthers prepare to host Appalachian State. Once again, I says looking to find its first conference win of the season. And I mentioned from the Ole Miss and the Vanderbilt contest, which we were at the Vandy game, and giving up 70 plus points in those contests. Marked improvement in their loss to James Madison last week, 14-7. So defensively, you're starting to see some things there. But you did mention some injuries on the defensive line that will potentially be a hindrance for them. But just offensively, just struggling to find consistency. I think having different quarterbacks and Brown and Finley taking snaps, that's been tough all season. Not having one guy there consistently the whole time has been a struggle. Just really not being able to find consistent running game, that's tough. And then the two fake punts given up against James Madison did not help the cause as well. And that's what I asked Coach McGee about, having given up those punt returns. And he did say there were some tackles missed by a sophomore and a freshman, but I do expect expect to see some schematic changes on that end because you cannot have that happen. But overall, just this may be the week to break out. Appalachian State, a team that's also not had the best season overall. This is really an opportunity for, I call these the bowl eligibility games, because we're at that time of the season where you got to find 6 wins somewhere. 5 wins, I guess, in some cases, but most of the time it's 6 wins. And these are two teams that do want to go to a bowl game. I was walking at the Georgia State facility, and they haven't been to a bowl game in a few years, which by their standards is not very good. Well, it's just been a while since they've been to a bowl game. And it's a team that consistently has found its way in bowl activities. So to go a second consecutive year without a bowl game would be, I think, a third consecutive year, if they don't make it this year, would be a step back for the program that does like to be bowl eligible and have that activity in December. So yeah, we just heard from Coach McGee about all of that. It is homecoming weekend, just standard stuff, nothing too crazy within that regard. But overall, yeah, the team is still just trying to find that consistency. Just put together a full, complete game from beginning to end. Even their win against Murray State, they had lapses on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. But even against James Madison, defense played really well, but special teams really let them down, and then offensively those let down as well. But this may be the week they can put it all together. We won't be attending the contest, but we will have some post-match analysis or post-game analysis on all of our platforms, which you can always go to, starting with thesportsinquirer.net. You can also go to our social media platforms on Twitter /X, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video hosts, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, and much more. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.